venues in Monster Jam, Raymond James Stadium, every year sells out for the return of the Monster Jam superstars. The fans are on fire, and a star-studded lineup is ready to rip it up. Racing and freestyle coming right up here on Monster Jam. Who's ready for Monster Jam? Hold on, baby! Here goes the camper! It has become one of the most tradition-rich events on the Monster Jam World Tour, the annual stop at Raymond James Stadium on the Gulf Coast in Tampa, Florida. Hi, I'm Scott Douglas. Glad you're along for this incredible racing bracket. You can see all the superstars. It's just a great lineup, so it's been a real war of close races to get into the championship round. But the two drivers who've made it, nobody's surprised to see Gunslinger and Gravedigger in the championship race. So here we go to the finals. We're going to settle the racing right here, and it is indeed the icon of the sport, Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger, having arguably the greatest year of his career. But here's a guy who is very tough to beat, especially in Florida, the very fast Ford Gunslinger, Scott Hartsock, a native of Florida. And Hartsock is one of the great competitors in Monster Jam anywhere he goes, but there's just some kind of magic for Hartsock most of the time when he races in his home state of Florida. And you can see he is hanging in with Gravedigger right here. Dennis Anderson not able to pull away, and these guys are absolutely neck and neck. Now there's an extended lap. This is the longest race they've had all night, and they come to that finish line. Scott Hartsock and Dennis Anderson absolutely dead even. Keep your eyes on the finish line, because here they come, and it looks like, and yes it is, it's Gunslinger by a matter of inches. There's the replay. Scott Hartsock wins it. Let's go down and hear from our racing champion, Scott Hartsock and Gunslinger.
What a feeling! He is on top of the world right now, getting this victory. Come on over here. There's your trophy. We're going to hang on to it. Let's get a little comfortable right now, because you had a long climb. After that elimination in round 2, it looked like you may be just watching this finals, but here you are sitting in the chair.
Absolutely right. You know, I've been playing this game for 17 years, and I've never won my hometown show right here. And everybody comes out here, whether I do good or I do bad, are always rooting for me. And they say, do one thing for me, and that's put Digger down.
We're going to give you this right here, first of all. Get another chance to say some words with you. I mean, you earned this. Kind of heavy there, and I want to make sure that you take that back.
Tampa goes down as Gunslinger 1.
All right, and you are going to be the only one with that opportunity to pick up that double down trophy. The other 11, well, they've just got a shot to win freestyle, but only you can be the double down man.
Is that when they say, sweet?
That's exactly what they say. That's what they say about your win. Your winner, congratulations from Bushnell, Florida. It's Scott Hartsock.
Big thanks to Monster Jam announcer Larry Jewett there with a jubilant Scott Hartsock, and why not to be able to come up with a victory, and not only a victory, but has absolutely beat Gravedigger and Dennis Anderson and beat him straight up when neither driver made a mistake. That's just a huge, huge win for Hartsock, who now goes for that double down trophy. The only way you can win a double down trophy is to take racing and freestyle on the same night in the same venue. So the only driver who can win the double down here tonight is Scott Hartsock. He's already won racing, getting underway in freestyle in that big Gunslinger Ford. And again, Hartsock for years has been one of the best. A little trivia when you're thinking World Finals, the very first championship race back in 2000 when Tom Meents won his first World Championship, he had to beat Scott Hartsock. Scott Hartsock was in the finals, the runner-up that first year. So he has been at the top of the game for a long time, and look at that. Oh, what a move, but he's gone over. Oh, that will not win the competition. He was giving the fans the spectacular moves that they wanted, but he goes over with way too much time on the clock, and the score will just be a 16 for Scott Hartsock and Gunslinger. So no double down, but he certainly thrilled his fans with a racing victory and, again, a spectacular freestyle, just a little bit short of filling that clock. Now, it is Ricky Only in the Mopar Magic, a truck name that has been around since the early days of Monster Jam when it was brought out by Gary Wiggins. And look at Only go right after that motorhome on the track. Ricky Only, a driver who certainly has no fear and a lot of experience, actually spent a couple of years, several years ago, driving for Team Gravedigger, then got out from behind the seat, was doing a lot of mechanical work, and got hooked up with Steve Sims when he formed his new team and brought Mopar Magic kind of back out of retirement. And Ricky Only has been doing a phenomenal job driving this truck ever since he got the ride. He'd go right back to that motorhome. He wanted another piece of it, and you see why as he just smashes it to pieces. Oh my. This is an outstanding freestyle performance early on in this competition. Ricky Only is telling those big boys in the back, including Mr. Dennis Anderson, you want to win here tonight, you better be ready to rip your truck up and burn it into the ground, because Mopar Magic is putting on a show. Look at the air again from Ricky Only. Oh, he stands it up. He didn't go over. Can he keep going? Yes, he can. He was in the same bad spot that Scott Hartsock was, but he was able to get the truck to lay down rather than take a weird hit and go over sideways. So he will fill the clock and go into bonus time. I've got to believe it's going to be a nice score from the three-judge panel judging regulations. And now the question is, can Mopar add any bonus time and put himself into serious contention to get the freestyle win? No doubt about it. Mopar Magic puts on a show for the fans here at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. And for those of you watching at home, look at that. Oh, he literally destroys the front of the truck as he finishes it up. The scores, though, a little lower than I thought. He'll still take the lead with a 23. Raymond James Stadium sold out in Tampa, Florida to see the biggest superstars in the sport. The competition for freestyle is intense. And we just saw an outstanding run by Ricky Only. That's the score that has the lead. You got to beat Mopar Magic's 23 to take the top spot. And Randy Moore coming right out strong in the War Wizard. Many will tell you that Randy Moore is the most improved driver in this industry over the last couple of years. He certainly came out of the drag racing circuits and then worked his way up into Monster Jam and just began every year trying to put together better equipment, get more seat time, get more experience, and he has clearly made it up to the elite level. And certainly as a driver, we expect soon to be able to qualify for the Monster Jam NGK Spark Plugs World Finals in Las Vegas, potentially as soon as this year, as the War Wizard has been awesome throughout the season. Wow, look at that elevation. Tries to get it into a slap wheelie. Didn't really nail it like he wanted to there, so he'll continue on. As you can see, the clock in regulation time has him winding down. Oh, no, that's not what he wanted. They call that hooking an edge. The truck just took a weird spot in the dirt and went over, so the scores will just be a 15 for Randy Moore's War Wizard. Well, the familiar sight of the bulldozer flying through another stadium. It's Chuck Warner back here on Monster Jam. And as we've seen so many times out, the bulldozer certainly capable of some great freestyles. And Chuck Warner, one of these drivers who understands that one of the things the fans and the judges look for, a lot of momentum and a lot of flow, moving from one move to the next with a lot of combinations, and that's what he's going to try to do here. See if he can get the lead early on in the freestyle competition here in Tampa. A little bit of a version of a cross thread, but really wasn't able to get it up over the cars or the bus stack, so that probably won't help him, but it really won't hurt him. He's continuing to do some nice moves and hit everything out there as he goes over the bus stack. Weird landing on the nose, but saves it and then goes right into another move. Now that's what the judges like, and the fans are really loving it as the roar goes up when he pulls it out and keeps on going. Chuck Warner in the bulldozer out of the Team Mentz camp. Tom Mentz, one of his trucks is the bulldozer. Chuck Warner, not only a great driver, but also one of the top flight mechanics that works out of the shop in Paxton, Illinois, that houses Maximum Destruction, bulldozer, and all of the Tom Mentz, Team Mentz trucks. Look at the air. Huge, big-time elevation from Chuck Warner and the bulldozer, and that's a great way to wrap up the regulation portion of his program. Let those three judges have something to really think about when they're flipping their scorecards over. And now those scores are being turned in, and our fourth judge, who only looks at bonus time, is now on the clock, if you will, because that's exactly what Chuck Warner is, on the bonus clock. Bulldozer trying to make the most of his bonus 30 seconds, and with a field like we have here in Tampa, it's hard to believe somebody's going to be able to win this thing without getting at least 2 or 3 bonus points. And Chuck would love to pick up a few here and add to his score, and he should be doing just that. But oh, there goes the wheel. But it goes in bonus time, so he'll get a couple of bonus points to add to his 21-point score. It's a 23, so he ties Mopar Magic for the lead. Airman Dan Evans and the Destroyer on the track now. We've been seeing Dan have an outstanding year in the Destroyer, and looking forward to his opportunity later this year to go back across the Atlantic Ocean, because Dan is the driver of the Jetix truck in the European portion of the Monster Jam World Tour. So doing double duty, driving the Destroyer in the U.S. and then the Jetix TV network sponsored ride that will compete in the European events. Dan Evans, one of the real backbone of the Monster Jam sport. It's really a family sport, and you can see it in drivers like Dan Evans, who've been going up and down the road for years. Well, wait a minute, here comes his reverse move. Here it comes, and this is something the judges love. Nobody else hits him in reverse. Dan Evans does it, but I think he's broken the back of the truck. So that's the risk you take, and that's why very few drivers do it. It's a 16 for the Destroyer family team. Driver Dan Evans and now his wife Lori, his crew chiefs, got a whole bunch of work to do. Well, we continue on with our current tie for the lead between Mopar Magic and Bulldozer. Here's a guy who could break that tie for sure. That's George Belhan in an Escalade. Look at that. That is textbook. Absolutely perfectly done. The slap wheelie, and he rides it all the way to the end of Raymond James Stadium and goes right into donuts. What a nice start for Belhan. George knows that to get a win against this competition, he has got to be spectacular from the first second to the very last. And Belhan has been on an amazing run this year of second place finishes. He's obviously elevated his game. He's turned in great freestyles wherever he's been going, but most of the time, and it seems like Dennis Anderson has been the guy edging him out. He's had a string of second place runs. So for Belhan, he's still looking for that breakthrough victory in a stadium televised event. He has been great all year long. Well, this is not going to be the time he's going to get it. Way too much time on the clock. So that's not what Belhan's been doing all year. Probably his most disappointing run of the season for an Escalade. Well, we're really only about halfway through freestyle, and these fans are just absolutely going bananas because they are getting great performances from the drivers early on, and we expect no less from this guy, Cam McQueen, driving Pastrana 199, the truck that is fielded by extreme sports legend Travis Pastrana. Cam McQueen actually was a mechanic working on Travis's bikes for years, and then Travis said, hey, why don't you try to drive this Monster Jam truck? And boy, was that a marriage made in Monster Jam heaven, because ever since Cam McQueen burst onto the scene a year or so ago, he has been ripping it up, and this driver looks like he's a potential champion in years to come. All he needs is a little more seat time, because he has that wild edge and the ability to come up with big moves and to sustain them and keep them going. And that's what you're going to have have any chance to win in this star-studded lineup here tonight. Going to try to walk it over the buses, but didn't get a lot of big air there. You're going to really have to nail some big air to win this competition, that's for sure. Donut time right in the center of the track. Cam McQueen will roll on at Pastrana 199, looking first to fill the regulation time and then see if he can pick up some bonus points to challenge our leaders. And again, it's a two-way tie for the lead right now with scores of 23. Ricky Only and Mopar Magic, Chuck Warner and Bulldozer, and look at that air. Cam McQueen flying through the Tampa night. That will certainly impress the judges, and the judges are about to turn in those regulation scorecards as Cam McQueen will head into bonus time. But this is a move that they would look at, but he didn't turn it into a slap wheelie, so he just gets a wheel stand jump and comes and lands all four wheels right back down. So McQueen rolls on now into bonus time. We'll check the judges' scores in just a moment. But we're going to watch this bonus run first. And again, trying to bust through what's left of the motorhome. Once Ricky Only and Mopar Magic took care of that baby, it's kind of not even an obstacle anymore. He ripped that motorhome to shreds. Cam McQueen and Pastrana 199. Will come up the step-up portion of that hill, and he does a nice job there. 2 bonus points will be added to his score of 22. So indeed, it is a new leader with a 24. Pastrana 199. Well, keep your eye on this guy, Steve Sims and the Stone Crusher Ford out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Sims has just emerged, really exploded on the scene last year and was so impressive at last year's NGK Spark Plugs World Finals that a lot of folks who really didn't know much about Stone Crusher all stood up and took notice with the freestyle run he turned in there. And you can see he is going big right off the bat. Hang on, yes, a nice save, and that the judges love. If you can save the truck, much more impressive than going over, not only because you can keep the run going, but the judges will reward saves much higher. But it broke the truck when he saved it, so the score will only be a 15 for Steve Sims and the Stone Crusher. Well, certainly one of the contenders to get the win here in this star-studded lineup is Lindsey Wink in the built Ford Tough Blue Thunder. Lindsey, a native Canadian, driving for the team based in the Motor City. Another motorhome has been brought out, and Lindsey's going for it. And he immediately just smashes it to the ground. And again, judges tend to compare things. Obviously, he really took that motorhome out much quicker and easier than Ricky Only did, albeit the other motorhome was clearly a little tougher to break down. But certainly I think the judges were impressed with how Blue Thunder went right through it. Again, the native of Devils Coulee, Alberta, Canada, Lindsey Wink driving for the team based in Detroit, sponsored corporately by Ford Motor Company, and well, they are proud of the performance Lindsey turns in his big Ford Super Duty. Into the second half of his run, and he has been outstanding through now the first minute of it. So if he can be just as good over this next 30 seconds, I think we're looking at a new leader, especially if Lindsey Wink takes Blue Thunder into bonus time with more huge air. And he combos it up into another move. You know, Lindsey has been known as a great racer since he burst onto the scene a couple of years ago, driving Iron Outlaw and winning and winning and winning. But look at what he's become in freestyle. One of the best in the world. I mean, these leaps are absolutely huge. And Lindsey Wink at Blue Thunder is a contender to win freestyle anywhere he goes, including the NGK Spark Plugs World Finals, where he will compete later this year. Filling the clock and going into bonus time, Lindsey Wink and Blue Thunder. Wow, this air has just been so huge. He's filled the clock, he's comboed up, and he keeps it going. I am going to be stunned if we're not looking at a new leader. I mean, these fans are roaring. He has turned them on in another big leap as he fills bonus time. So why not end up on the side of the truck? He has filled all the clocks, and he has turned in a great performance. A new leader with a 29 is Lindsey Wink and Blue Thunder. The Monster Jam fans in Tampa, Florida have been fired up all night. Lindsey Wink really got him excited with that great run we just saw on Blue Thunder, and now they are on their feet for the World Freestyle Champion, the reigning champion of the world, Adam Anderson, on the track in Taz. Of course, Adam also the youngest world champion in Monster Jam history, and who knows, his brother may try to break that record, as Ryan Anderson will actually enter Monster Jam as a driver in a truck called Son of a Digger next year, like Adam, son of the icon Dennis Anderson, the Grave Digger creator. But as far as Adam goes, he's trying to win another world championship before his brother starts driving. He's taking advantage of having his brother around. Ryan is actually the crew chief this year for Adam Anderson on the Taz truck. Boy, look at Adam. I mean, you talk about a chip off the old block. So much of the style that we've grown to love in Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger runs over the years, we see now in Adam Anderson and Taz, and that ragged edge. It's one move goes right into the next. Again, no, very little wasted time. In a Gravedigger freestyle, you can say the same thing about Taz. And the spectacular quotient, that number is always way up there. Now that actually is an interesting move. It can get him in trouble, but no, he fights through it. He took on the cab of that motorhome that had not been destroyed by anybody earlier, and what the judges will like about that is no one else went after that part of the motorhome. Adam did it, and he continues on with more big air. The world champion will indeed be a regulation, but this is going to be an event, I believe, one with bonus points. Adam needs to go get all he can get right here. He is in bonus time, and he starts it off big. He knows his dad is still back there. Gravedigger still to come. Maximum Destruction still to come as well. Adam knows he needs to get every point he can, and he's going to nail another move right here. A cross thread, the best cross thread of the night, and look at that. He'll land it as the bonus time expires upside down. Great scores and a new leader. That's what he had to do. 27 in regulation, 4 bonus points. It gives him a 31, but there's still room for Craig Christensen to work with in Maximum Destruction, and Dennis Anderson, who will be up next in Gravedigger. But they will have to go huge to knock off our reigning world champion, as Adam Anderson has shown these fans in Tampa how he won the world title last time out at Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas. Oh no! Craig Christensen flips over way too early, and Maximum Destruction obviously can't get any scores for a run that didn't even last 30 seconds. A terrible disappointment for Craig Christensen. So, one more truck to go. Taz is the leader, but his very famous daddy is coming out with one intention, and that's to make his son second place tonight. Dennis Anderson looking for another double down trophy. He's been getting them in so many events this year in the Gravedigger truck, winning racing and winning freestyle in the same facility. When he came here wanting a double down, he didn't get racing because Scott Hartsock won the racing and gunslinger, beating him out there. So you know how committed Dennis is to at least get one of those pieces of hardware. He wants to take that freestyle trophy home. Dennis Anderson, Gravedigger, having a strong run, but it's not that ragged edge we're used to seeing. And something's wrong. The truck is shut down. He's trying to refire it. And again, he's talking to the Monster Jam officials. They will let him refire it. They froze the clock. So again, they will do that for any driver. They freeze the clock. You can restart it. You can continue on. And Dennis will do just that. But that has to be at least a slight negative in the judge's mind, because the flow is broken at that point. So if you're Dennis Anderson, you're thinking now, you saw what your son did, and I better go big, and I better hammer this thing into the ground. And of course, for Dennis, yeah, he always wants to win. But one way or the other, he's going to make sure his Gravedigger fans are satisfied, and that's what he's all about. Well, you can just hear while this Gravedigger freestyle just sounds a little different from everybody else's, as Anderson really will pound that truck into the ground, as he likes to say. Down to the final 5 seconds. Look at the momentum on this run. Huge air, and boy, he settles it down nicely. His crew chief, Dustin Brown, and Shockman Josh Garcia have done a great job to make that truck settle for him so it doesn't just bounce and flip over. He has cut down a tire, but that's not going to stop him here in the bonus time. He's filled regulation. Now in bonus, you can see that rear wheel on the right-hand side of the truck is flat, and that's going to help take him over. Now he even breaks a wheel off as well. The scores, though, will not quite be enough. He's going to finish 1 point short of his son when we total them up. Adam Anderson's your winner, and Larry Jewett standing by to talk to him.
Congratulations accepted from the crew. Run a great job, Adam.
You know, it feels great. I feel bad for Dad, though. He doesn't want that to happen. Win or lose, I didn't care if it was me or my dad, truthfully. As long as we put on a good show for you guys, he didn't want no parts of that. That guy's been sick. He went through it. He pulled through. My little brother, he's out on the road with me now. You wait till next year. There'll be 3 of us out here.
It was 2 years ago. We were standing out here, and you picked up that freestyle victory in a different truck. Man, a lot's happened since that 2 years ago.
It really has. You know what? I progressed in the Gravedigger truck. When I drove that truck for my dad, I learned so much, not only from him, his crew chief, Dustin. Now I'm applying it to my truck.
Well, come on, look around here behind you here. There's some hardware for you up there. Let's go on up there and let you get what you rightfully deserve. He has picked up the victory.
And there you see Adam and Ryan Anderson, Dennis Anderson's sons, working as a team, and Adam showing these fans in Tampa how he has become the youngest world freestyle champion ever, and you just wonder how many more titles there are to come. Anderson and Taz winning freestyle. Scott Hartsock and Gunslinger, your racing winner. You get a look at the highlights from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. a great night of action here in Tampa. We'll see you next time on Monster Jam.